class 7, welcome back to bio class. Today we are here with chapter number 2 and we have already started with chapter number 2. In the previous class we had discussed about the kingdom Monera, and if you remember the features of kingdom Monera, they are unicellular organism and they do not have true nucleus. That is, they are the nucleus is not proper in them. Okay, so not only that, we have also discussed about the different types of bacteria based on their shapes. Okay, today we are going to learn about the basic structure, the general structure of bacteria. Now bacteria has got, you can see here, and you can also see in page number 25 in your book. This is the structure of bacteria. With the shape you can make out. This bacteria, this shape is basically capsulated shape. Okay, so this has got capsulated shape in which the dotted part, these things, they are the ribosomes. Now what are ribosomes? Ribosomes, they are responsible for synthesizing protein. Inside this you can see the chromatin material. Chromatin materials are what? They are basically they are responsible for the traits, or you can say that genes are present here. Okay, and in genes what happens? I'm talking about GENES, not GEANS. Okay, so genes, they carry the traits of an individual. Okay, so the chromatin material is present here. These are the ribosomes, and inside the ribosome you will see the cytoplasm is present. Cytoplasm is the fluid part of the bacteria. Now what are these? These are basically you will find this is a long tail-like structure which is called flagella, and over here you will find, because you see Monera, this particular class of kingdom, this kingdom has the characteristics of both plant and animal. That is why they have both cell wall as well as the membrane. But you can see here in the chromatin material, means chromatin material is basically present inside the nucleus, but this has got no nuclear membrane, and that is why it is called it is not having true nucleus. The meaning of not having true nucleus is they do not have the nuclear membrane. So the chromatin material is spreaded, it is just openly present in the cytoplasm. It is not bounded inside the nucleus. Okay, this is flagella, and then we have all these kind of thing. You can see here in this picture also ribosomes. This small ones are ribosomes, chromatin material, and flagella, which helps them to move. Okay, then they have the structure, the body is capsulated, and outside they have a cell wall. Inside that they have a plasma membrane also, because it is having the characteristics of both plant and animal. That's why all these parts are present. But had it been only animals, then cell wall would have been absent in that. Okay, so this is the basic structure of bacteria, a general structure of a bacteria. Now at the same time, some more information about the bacteria, like what is their mode of nutrition. Basically, just now as I said that they have the characteristics of both plants and animals, so they will have chlorophyll also. So their mode of nutrition will be autotrophic as well as heterotrophic. Heterotrophic means they are dependent on other plants and animals also for their nutrition. So in heterotrophic, they are basically saprophytic and parasitic. Now what is saprophytic? These bacteria, they feed on dead and decaying organisms. Okay, dead and decaying matter. Can be animal, can be plants, anything, but dead and decaying matter. At the same time, they are parasitic bacteria. Parasitic bacteria means parasites. Have you heard of the term parasites? Which live, these bacteria, certain bacteria, they live on another body, and from there they acquire or they get the nutrition from the body, and they harm the host. Where they are living, they harm the host body. Okay, so they are parasitic in nature in their nutrition. Then how do they respire? The respiration is basically both, like aerobic as well as anaerobic. Aerobic, you remember, aerobic respiration means where oxygen is involved, and anaerobic bacteria, or where anaerobic respiration means where the respiration which takes place in the absence of oxygen. Okay, so they respire in both ways. Then reproduction. How do they reproduce? They reproduce through binary fission. Now, what is binary fission? Bi means two. Binary fission. Now, binary fission is what? Generally, what happens? These bacteria, they, after they are grown up, after having food and all, when they are grown up and develop, then they divide. They have a tendency of dividing from the nucleus. Nucleus is not bounded with the membrane. Okay, so they have a tendency of dividing their body into two daughter cells, and gradually when these two daughter cells they start feeding and grow, then they develop into two individuals, two like separate individual, or you can say two separate bacteria. Okay, so that's how. Then again from the two bacteria again they will further they will divide into another two. That means from two bacteria again four bacteria will be developed. So this is what is binary fission. Means from one bacteria, when they divide, they are divided into two daughter cells. Now these two daughter cells again they will divide into two, then four daughter cells are present. Okay, then they will develop like as a individual bacteria. Then these four bacteria again they will divide they will reproduce by binary fission. Then the double of it will produce. That means 16 bacteria will produce. That's how they multiply. Okay. Now these bacteria, you must have heard that all the bacteria are not harmful. Generally, when we talk about bacteria and all these microorganisms, then we have some negative thought. It's not like that. Certain bacteria are helpful also. Now you see at home when you when you prepare curd, how do you prepare this curd? This for formation of curd or for preparation of curd, again some bacteria are responsible, and the name of this bacteria is lactobacillus. Now when this lactobacillus bacteria they grow inside the milk, then they form the curd. So like you will see when your mother is forming preparing curd and all, what does she do? She first boils the milk, and then some kind of yeast she puts inside, or some little bit water of curd she will add to the milk, and then she will leave it whole through the night, or maybe for certain hours. Okay, and living in the corner where there will be no light, light will not be present, and then it will be little in the warmer place. If you keep it inside the fridge, it will not happen, because the bacteria they grow in certain temperature. Okay, so that's how the bacteria are growing. So these bacteria are also they have the tendency to grow in certain temperature, that is 20 to 45 degree temperature they can sustain. Okay, neither above nor below they cannot sustain. Whereas there are other bacteria also. Certain bacteria are there which can, as we are facing now, this is also a kind of virus. Okay, so we do not know this virus can sustain in the lower temperature also. It sustains in the higher temperature also. So what we are facing, the today's condition, the situation, COVID-19 we are facing. Okay, so this is also a kind of microorganism, the virus. So here we complete the mode of nutrition, respiration, reproduction, and the growth of bacteria, how it takes place. Now we will talk about the useful bacteria. There are certain useful bacteria, like for example, certain bacteria are used for preparing medicines, like streptomycin. If you have heard of this name, streptomycin, this is, and chloromycin. They are again prepared from a kind of bacteria, and these bacteria are being used for preparing vaccine. Now, what is vaccine? You see, vaccines are certain antibodies which are injected in our body in order to develop the immunity system. That means it develops a kind of system which helps to fight against a particular kind of disease. Either it will kill that bacteria which causes the disease, or it will inhibit its function to cause the disease. Okay, so that is vaccine. So these bacteria are also helpful in producing or in preparing medicines. At the same time, as I just now told you that these bacteria help in formation of curd. So which bacteria is responsible for formation of curd? It is lactobacillus. Then we have another usefulness of bacteria, that is for nitrogen fixation. You see, for plants to grow, they need nitrates, nitrogen, and from where will they get? They will get it through the soil. And from where the soil, from the inside the soil, where will it come from? Certain bacteria are there which helps to retain the nitrogen, or to fix the nitrogen in the soil, and from the soil then again through roots these nitrogen or nitrates are being absorbed by the plant, okay, for their proper growth. Then we have another usefulness of bacteria is that it increases the soil fertility. Certain bacteria they increases the soil fertility also. They die, and then in a way they increase the fertility of the soil. Then we have another usefulness of bacteria, that is it helps to clean the environment. How do they help to clean the environment? Like saprophytic bacteria. Saprophytic bacteria, just now we have talked about, we have discussed about saprophytic bacteria. What are they? They are basically saprophytic is a kind of nutrition, okay, where there are certain bacteria which feed on dead and decaying matter. If these bacteria are not there, then the dead and decaying matter will remain there, and it will somehow cause some kind of harmfulness in the environment. So these bacteria are again helping to clean the environment, okay. So another usefulness of bacteria is tanning of leather. Some bacteria are used for cutting of animals' hide and skin. There are certain bacteria, they help to get the skin or the leather of animals. Then another usefulness of bacteria is retting of fibers. Some bacteria are used for separating jute fibers and also for making them soft. Certain bacteria are there which help to separate the jute from the fibers from the jute, okay, jute fibers. Then there are certain bacteria which are helpful in preparing some gas, biogas. You must have heard of biogas, which is again used for cooking purposes, etc. Then the bacteria also help in nutrition. That is, some bacteria like E. coli, Escherichia coli. This they live in intestine, and they produce vitamins in our body. That is, vitamin B and K is produced by this E. coli bacteria. So they stay inside our intestine, and they produce this vitamins which are again useful for our body. Last but not the least, special flavors. Certain bacteria is also used for preparing certain kind of flavors like tea, coffee, and cocoa, etc. Okay, that is being prepared by certain bacteria. Now we have discussed about the usefulness of bacteria. At the same time, there are some harmful effects of bacteria. Like you must be knowing, there are so many harmful effects of bacteria. They cause disease in our body, right? Now suppose what happens when you eat a food which is being kept outside all through the night without covered, okay, maybe some dust is falling on it, and then it is just kept it uncovered, and the same food, if you eat it in the morning, okay, so what will happen? You may have some kind of stomach problem. Okay, and that is nothing due to it is because of certain bacteria have grown which are harmful, and they have gone inside your stomach and causing problem. And this kind of problem is known as food poisoning. Okay, and in this food poisoning, you can see like they are having vomiting tendency, then loss of water, motions, etc. Then there are certain bacteria which causes disease. For example, cholera is caused by certain disease, certain bacteria. Then we have now it is not prevailing, polio. That was also caused due to some bacteria. Tuberculosis, diphtheria, pneumonia. Now we have been able to overcome these diseases because we have discovered the vaccines. Okay, but the cause for these diseases are the bacteria. If we do not take the vaccine, or if we don't take any kind of precaution or prevention, then definitely we will be attacked by this bacteria and we may get some harmful effect by these bacteria. Okay, so here we complete the Monera kingdom and the usefulness and harmfulness of bacteria. Now you see, you have this revision exercise for revision. You will be completing this exercise in the book itself, and you will also read the chapter. At the same time, please draw the structure of bacteria in the diagram of structure of bacteria in your copy. Okay, and please do read this chapter thoroughly, so that if you have not understood anywhere any point, you can ask me in the comment box. Also you can ask me in the the help desk. And take care. Bye bye. I'll be back with next topic.